All right, welcome back to another episode of the Mysterious Huntsman podcast. And tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to incorporate a little bit of the paranormal, but I wanted to bring on this very special band out of Nashville that's causing major waves here. And tonight I have in the studio with me the Naked Gypsy Queens.
How's it going? Hey, what's up?
We've got Cade, we've got Chris, we've got Bo, we got Landon. All right. Guys, welcome to the Mysterious Huntsman Show. How you doing?
Good. Doing good. Thanks for having us out here.
Thanks for coming over, man. Probably going to have to speak up a little bit more and scream a little bit if you want to. But, yeah, I just want to have you guys here and tell me what's going on with NGQ Band and tell me how you got started, and then we're going to go from there. And I think some of you guys have some really wild stories, some paranormal stuff that really falls back in line with my actual show. But anybody wants to start, take it away.
Bo?
Yeah.
Bo is like, he's the more paranormal one out of all of us.
Well, before we get into that.
Yeah, I thought we were going to, just talk about band stuff for a minute.
Yeah, let's, who are the Naked Gypsy Queens?
Well, that's us, unfortunately. We started, I'd probably say 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, around like 2017.
And how we started was, it wasn't planned, it wasn't anything like that. We were in a different band at the time called the Red Vans, and it was just a, local band in Franklin, Tennessee, and it just kind of grew into what is now NGQ. At first, it was just Landon, Chris, and this dude named Bailey. And they were at it for how many years?
About a year, like about a year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyways, I wanted to be in the band pretty bad. I just moved here and I was itching to be in a band. And so I went to school one day and I found Chris. I was brand new at the school. And I heard Chris and Landon in the music studio at our school, and they're playing A Whole Lot of Love. And I walk in, and I immediately knew I had to be in a band with these guys. And so, after they were done, I was like, hey, are y'all in a band? Because I'd love to be in a band with you guys. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're in the Red Vans. But I'll get you a guy in contact and stuff, and we'll get you in a band soon.
We just sent him away.
Yeah,
literally just gave me the hand, and I was so sad.
We were torn too because we wanted to I was trying to figure out a way how it could work. I was trying to figure out a way how it could work with Bo, and so it was a sad loss, but we're here now, so it checked out. We're good.
Yeah. After some unfortunate events, the funny part is that since Chris gave me the hand, I later end up joining the band along with Cade, and then I'm the one that kicked Chris. I kicked Chris out of his own band.
Yeah, it was a collective decision. I like to say that I left, but they politely asked me to leave. So.
Hey, it's one way or another, dude. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny.
But kicking Chris out was also
the best thing that ever happened to us. Yeah.
Yeah. So when Chris got kicked out, this is where it comes to the point where it's NGQ.
I'm out.
Chris is out. It's just me, Landon, Cade, and this dude named Bailey. And things weren't going out, the way we wanted. We were just kind of going in this weird area of just trying to be too psychedelic, but it started to become just a kind of a mess. And so when it got to the point where we kicked Cade out, we were like, I don't know. Chris comes out of nowhere one day at school, and he was like, hey, I need Landon, Cade, and Bo. I need you guys to play with me at Main Street Festival. He got a spot. And
a local spot.
And so we all agreed, and we went out there, and we played a couple songs that we knew. And ever since then, we were like, this sounds too good to quit. And so we changed the name.
Well, the name was Chris & Co.
It was Chris Tigliotto and Company, actually.
And it was the worst name ever.
Yeah, it was something. I had to pick something on the fly.
And so...
And it wasn't a good one.
Yeah.
I'm glad you admitted that, though.
But we all kind of looked at each other and we're like, this is just, the music that came out today was just too good to not continue doing it, you know? And so we immediately, first thing first, was like, let's drop this heckin' name. It sucks, and it sucks. And then Chris came up with NGQ.
Naked
So
Gypsy Queens.
tell us about that. How'd you come up with the name?
I was driving one time. I was driving home from school, and I just thought it just came out of nowhere. When I was driving, I was like, Naked Gypsy Queens. I might use that. That's pretty much it. Like,
Well, you came up with like Naked Gypsy Mamas and
first, yeah, like
Yeah.
mamas and papas. But yeah, and then I was like, no, that's messed up. I was like, I don't know, that's a little too out there. We're gonna do Naked Gypsy Queens. That sounds cooler. So, yeah, and it stuck. And I forget that's our band name sometimes. Honestly, straight up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's our name. You just don't really think about it.
yeah.
Now, Cade, where did you come into the picture at? Because you're not talking over there. I got to get you.
No,
Apparently he likes to be the quiet one.
yeah. So I
And-
came.
And what do you do in the band?
I played lead and rhythm guitar, both,
Okay.
And slide.
and slide. Well, I came to the high school where Chris, Landon, and Bo were at, and I just started playing guitar. And I was friends with Chris for a while, and then me and Chris jammed a lot. And Chris eventually asked me to join as a rhythm guitarist for the band they were in, and I said yeah. And then I got in, and we practiced for a couple weeks right before our first show, and then right before the first show, they ended up kicking Chris out. And so I was kind of bummed because I was pretty pissed at the musical direction they were going to. And so eventually I pretty much asked to get kicked out because I was just not into the band at all. And then me and Chris started getting into Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Hendrix.
Floyd,
Floyd.
and Pink Floyd and Allman Brothers. And then that's, I think, when Chris and I decided we wanted to do a blues band. And then, that's pretty much how I came into the picture, I guess. And then I got the whole band into Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, I guess, where our style really took its place, was from that old kind of 70s Southern / blues rock. And
Rock too. We like to think that we were a jam band.
Yeah.
On the way up, but that we weren't good at all.
Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah, one thing I love about Cade is that he goes through these, we call them the Cade phases.
Oh yeah.
And he'll go through a phase like every month, and it's the whole month themed to this one this one person or band. And for the longest time, it was Allman Brothers. And it's really funny. And then it's like, oh my God, when is this going to end? And then it switches to something super unexpected. Like
Nick Drake.
it was like Leonard Skinner for like 2 months, and then it randomly switched to Michael Jackson.
I'm still in my Michael Jackson
Dude,
phase.
Michael Jackson's going strong.
Yeah.
Kid. Like,
Yeah.
He got the whole band into Michael Jackson.
Cade can do Michael Jackson moves now. So if anyone's listening and you're ever at a show, just scream, do the moonwalk, and he'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
He did the
fantastic.
spinning kick as too.
Spinning kick, he can do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
No.
Oh, come on.
You got to do it.
I'll save it for later. And my
Yeah,
voice
we'll
is
do it
really-
right before we end the show.
Yeah. Oh, my voice
you got to
is
come to
really
the
raspy.
show to hear it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, this is going to air after this weekend's show, but the basement Saturday night is going to be a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And so it's going to air after Saturday night, or I could put it out. It's my show. I can put it out tonight if I just want to.
It's your
Hey,
show.
it's your show, man. Do whatever. But
But
Is it smart to go against schedule?
nobody's really listening anyway.
oh,
I've like-
I
all the
listen.
time.
Kevin, if Kevin's listening right now,
Kevin listens to all your.
we love you.
Kevin doesn't listen to all
Yeah, he
this.
Yeah,
does.
he does.
I
Oh
promise.
boy,
Troy.
he
Yeah.
shakes his head, I'm sure. But so tell me some of the venues. If you guys have, you've risen quickly because each one of you are so talented, and it shows on stage, off stage. You've risen really quickly, and you've got great management in Kevin Riley and Elsie and Reef Management. And
Yeah.
he's took good care of you guys. You've took good care of him. Y'all are a great team, but y'all have risen very quickly. You've done a lot of great things, quicker than most, and that's amazing. But tell me where you guys have played and where you are going to be playing coming up soon.
Mercy Lounge has definitely been like our favorite that we played so far.
Should just give them a whole spiel from Puckett to Georgiana.
Yeah. Okay, so since when we started, we started in playing at a beer store in Spring Hill. What's it called?
Wild Hair.
Wild Hair, yeah. And that was we were like...
I got pictures of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the best shows. Like, we just go in. We kind of had like a little mini residency there. We just jam out. It was awesome.
We had our own little corner, and it was the smallest area
Yeah, it wasn't
in
even
the
like
world.
10 feet by 10 feet at all.
No, and but the good perks is that we had unlimited drinks, not beer. We could only drink the sodas, obviously.
I still can't drink beer.
Yeah. So we started there, and we were kind of getting bored of it. I wouldn't say quickly, but after a couple months of playing in a corner, you're like, I want to play somewhere else,
Yeah.
So
We did some birthday parties for some people.
yeah, we also did a wedding.
Yeah.
Bar mitzvahs, anything?
No
whatever.
bar mitzvahs. Those would be lit though.
Yeah, and so we branched off, and I'm always at Puckett's and Leaper's Fork. Thursday nights there, they have great open mics and all that stuff. Shout out. But I decided to get in contact with my buddy Rob, who's the owner, Rob Robinson, and I said, hey, my band's getting together, we just need a bigger venue. And what did he do? He put us on a Friday night, and next thing you know, we're playing Saturday nights there, and I can't remember where we went to after that. What was the next?
I think we kind of I think that's when we started going to. We just went straight to Nashville. After that, we started playing at the end, the East Room, the Cobra,
Yeah. We did Kimbrough a lot too.
Yeah, and Whiskey Room.
Yeah, those are the two.
Whiskey Room we played there a lot.
Yeah.
So you're making a pretty good round of the circuit that you need to be in for
Yeah.
your genre.
We played everywhere you needed to play in Franklin in order to get your name out there. Most places, that would accept us at such a young age, and then also we were a pretty new band still. But in order to get ourselves out there, we had Kevin Riley come along, who really stepped up the game for us. It's on a different level now. That's how we've been able to do so much is through him. And so when he came along, he was like, we got to get you out of Puckett's, And so what he started doing, he started getting us shows in Nashville, And so I remember playing I think it was the Basement East or something, but I remember being kind of shocked that we're playing there in the first place. But this is months and months after Puckett, so it wasn't an overnight thing. And so when we started doing rounds in Nashville, the Cobra, the End, East Room, all that stuff.
Shout out to East Room.
Yeah.
The best.
That's when we started getting our main circuit of fans, was through that.
And going to college.
Oh yeah, the boys went to college, and
Belmont.
Yeah.
The whole Belmont crowd, we had a cool thing going on over there.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're at that point now where we're starting to, continue to play in Nashville, but also starting to spread to other cities. Chicago is another one that we like to play at. We have a good group of people out there that are...
With the Kankakee.
Yeah, Kankakee and all
Music
that
Fest.
stuff. And yeah, so we got a good thing going right now.
And you guys even had a small tour, you went through New York. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We played the Bitter End, which was it's a pretty legendary place.
Bob
Joan
Dylan.
Baez, Bob Dylan, and who else? Joni Mitchell, and Miles Davis and Coltrane. All those people would play there. Curtis Mayfield. It's a pretty legendary place. So we go in there, and it was our first gig in New York City, and it just went to complete hell. It was amazing. It was no one there. We just tore that place up. It was a jazz bar. That's why. we didn't realize it was such a jazz bar, and so we just like cranked our amps.
It was probably my least favorite show.
Yeah, it was not fun at all.
It just felt so weird there.
Yeah, definitely wasn't our crowd.
And then they cut us
There was
short.
no crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 10 people.
No, there wasn't even 10. There was like
5.
2 or 3, including the sound guy.
I remember your favorite stage or show was probably in my hometown, Georgia.
Georgiana.
Oh,
Where
God.
you were introduced as the Naked Gypsy Queens. because-
Naked.
Naked Gypsy
Yeah, not
Queens.
naked, but naked.
It was hotter than the devil's butt.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
remember.
but I mean, Hank Williams, you were on Hank Williams Sr.'s basically back porch of the old cabin where he
yeah.
used to play. So
It's a very cool place.
there's nobody there,
It was a
but
good
it was.
vibe.
We had a blast, and it was stupid hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was so fun. It felt cool being on like a big stage like that.
Yeah.
Even though everyone hated us, you know.
That was amazing.
No, they didn't hate you. They just didn't understand you yet.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So fast forward. I mean, is his name Kelvin or Kevin?
Kevin.
No, I know. I'm messing with. Yeah, like I said, he's really helped you guys out a lot. Been great, really good to you, and you got big things coming up on the horizon. I know you can't really talk about it yet, or I don't know if you can or can't. You're welcome to if you want.
Can't.
Can't.
Yeah.
All right, good enough. But still, good things are coming for the Naked Gypsy Queens, and why don't you guys tell them, the audience here, both of them, how to reach you? I mean, your website.
Reach us?
If you want to contact you or buy your tunes or.
Yeah.
We're the most active on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram at just Naked Gypsy Queens. iTunes, music's everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify.
Napster, that's a thing.
Yeah, apparently, pretty much everything. YouTube, we have music videos up.
Documentaries.
We have a Twitter, NGQ Band, and Facebook, NGQ Band, because Facebook does not like the word naked.
It's true. True story.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything that you need to know in case you want to listen to us. In case anyone on here has no idea what we sound like, no, we're not heavy metal or anything like that. But we are, I'd say, they hate me when I say it, but we're blues rock, but mainly rock and roll.
Yeah.
Who hates you for saying that? I'm pretty sure
Chris.
we all agree. Oh,
For
No,
what?
Chris hates when
Chris
you say
hates Southern rock.
Oh, yeah, I say Southern rock sometimes just to piss them off. So,
Anyway, yeah.
I guess technically we are, but
cool.
So what are
Nashville City, yeah.
what are your, on your travels or some of your tours, what are some of the most memorable things? Anything crazy happen? I think you guys got banned, or you got banned from hotels in Chicago, or you got kicked out or something.
Yeah.
What about the 4th of July story? Can we say that?
No, There's some things that we just can't say. But let's talk about the hotel.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well, I feel like they could see that on YouTube.
Oh,
We should tell them something that they can't see.
Ooh,
Okay. Well, you think most people are going to go on YouTube and look at that?
who knows if we pitch it the right way.
Okay. What's the other thing you want to talk about?
I don't know. Something cool.
Ooh, when we were in New York, parking space was so hard to find that we had a trailer hitched with us, and we were driving around, and we found this one spot where we could just barely fit the trailer and the car in. So what we had to do is we parallel parked the car first, excuse me, and then we disconnected the trailer, took all the gear out, and then manually moved the trailer into the spot, and then reloaded all with the gear. And it was such a pain, but it was worth it.
It was very dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never bring a U-Haul to New York City. Manhattan.
Specifically. That
Um,
place is terrible to drive in.
Especially with the trailer.
Yeah,
Landon likes it though. It's his people. Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to think on the spot, crazy things that's happened on the road.
I do remember one really cool place was in Indiana at that lake house.
Mm-hmm.
That was very fun. We drove we had a show in Indiana, And after the show, we had to drive like 4 hours to like northern Indiana in a place called Fort Wayne.
Yeah, we got to stop by at Sweetwater.
Yeah, we wanted to stop by Sweetwater and all that. But we had like some time before we had to like go straight to New York. So we stayed at like this really cool house that had like a pond that we could swim in. We stayed there for like 3 days.
Oh yeah, and then it had like a giant like 10-foot like board you could jump off of.
Big dock.
Yeah, it was awesome. Everyone did a flip, but Bo.
And then so we also did climb on top of this.
This school.
This school.
I think it was a middle school.
High school, I think. No, middle school.
It's Leo Elementary.
Well, it's an elementary school.
No, I can't remember. It's like Leo Elementary or Leo Middle School. I don't know. Anyway, we climbed on top of that.
Yeah, we stacked two of those big tables out. It was a group effort. We stacked the tables and we climbed on top of the roof. It was pretty genius.
Oh, there was one night where so when I'm on the road with the guys, I'm definitely the one that kind of likes, like after a while, to have just kind of personal space and just like my alone time. And one of my weird things I like to do when I'm alone, yes, we're going there. I like to literally like sit in a room and just put on a nice, soothing war movie.
Oh yeah.
And
what's a soothing war movie?
any of them, just pretty much any of them.
Wasn't it We Were Soldiers?
Yeah, so one night the boys were outside, recording music, and I got permission by the owner to go into the man cave, which is kind of like it's like a garage, but he kind of turned it
pretty
in.
much another house.
Yeah.
It's a man cave.
He left it unlocked for me, and I got the DVD We Were Soldiers, and I just wanted to watch it. And so I'm in there, and I'm in there for, the movie's like 2 hours, 30 minutes or whatever. And yeah, so apparently they were like listening to the audio of just
Hold on. We were on top of the dock trying to write a song, and Bo had like the sound system cranked so loud, like we could like hear it from the outside.
just combat.
So then we got the idea. We were gonna try and scare him, and we walk in, and he's just like totally was just like on this big couch with like the sound system so loud, and I think we all just started laughing.
Yeah,
We just gave up on trying to scare him. It was just funny.
That was a good memory. But no, I don't think we have any like crazy stories yet. That's to come.
Yet.
Or we can't say.
Well, that kind of leads me to the next segment, which is kind of this is what my podcast is about. I know a couple of you have some crazy stories. One or two of you might. I know, Bo, you said you've had lots of hauntings in your past and probably even still continuing.
Yes. And
So-
I'm really excited to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting so long to talk
been
to someone that's like super into this stuff.
Well, I've been ignoring your emails, but
Oh.
no. I know you have a lot, but
Yeah.
does anyone else have a quick
Yeah.
one before you want to?
Yeah, my dorm room was haunted last year at Belmont.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's the second oldest building on campus alongside the mansion, which is like Alicia Ackland's like mansion, and like she was like the richest woman in the South, and that's where her house was. So like this building is like over 100 years old. It's been an all boys like dorm for like over 100 years. Built in like 1913, can burn down in like 3 seconds. Actual fact, or not 3 seconds, 3 minutes. Actual fact, because it's so old. But apparently there's rumors that it's haunted. And that like people will just see like dark figures at night, and like things will start like moving or all that fun stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, nice. And so this was like first month of school, and so one night I'm just chilling out in my room, and the way my room is set up, you can't see the closet because it's right next to the door. So so my roommate was on the side where you couldn't see the door. So what happened was I was just talking to him, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the door just like open like very slowly, and I was like, did you just see that? And he's like, what? And he's like, what? And he's like, I saw that light go over your head. I'm like, what light? And I'm like, dude, the door just opened by itself. And so like an orb, we're pretty sure like an orb just went like right over my head and just opened the door. So he thought it was a bug, but I'm like, dude, there's no bugs in this room.
What about the Franklin graveyard thing?
Ooh,
Your friend?
no.
One of your friends? No.
No.
You can say your intention.
What about you, Cade? You got anything?
I don't know.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Me
I
and
wish.
Kate,
I
me and Kate
wish.
don't really experience anything. It's just kind of Bo and Chris. I don't know.
You probably inherited some. I mean, when I show up places, everything just stops.
Nice.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything? Or
No.
you guys saw something in the sky one night over Franklin, right? Like 4th of July.
Sonic, yeah.
Oh,
It was in that. It was in this graveyard behind Sonic and Franklin.
And it was 4th of July.
July.
4th of July, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a firework.
This was definitely not a firework. So like we were sitting there in the graveyard, just kind of like watching other fireworks, and I look up. It's kind of like to my left, and there's these 2 red lights. It looks like the back of a car. Like that's what it looked like, and they were just sitting there. And like I look back down and say, "Do you guys see this?" And I look back up, and they just faded. Like they just faded. It was very weird.
Yeah, they didn't move. They just like disappeared.
Yeah.
You don't think it could have been a drone or something? Or
No, because drones move. These just like completely just turned off or something.
no noise?
No,
Nope.
no noises.
All right.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing I've really like experienced, I guess.
Lame.
I've never experienced.
Cade, you
anything.
think of anything yet? No.
I've never experienced anything. I wish.
This is probably weird, right?
No, I love it.
All right.
Yeah, we love Bo's ghost stories.
Yeah. All right, Bo's Ghost. You could have your own podcast.
Bo's Ghost
Bo's
Stories.
Ghost Stories.
Do you want me to have one, or you want it to be under this?
No, I'm. Yeah, go for it, man. We're all here. We're listening, and
Okay.
you've got some incredible stories, and yeah, I've been waiting a long time to hear it myself.
Yes. So let me just kind of go back to the beginning. This is going to be a lot, but it's very interesting if you are into paranormal stuff.
Sure,
or
you've got
anything.
3 minutes.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. So throughout my family, my grandmother has the gift of being able to see things and hear things of, paranormal areas. She had 2 children, my mom and her brother, and it skipped her brother, and my mom has that gift. And it kind of repeated itself when my mom had me and my 2 other brothers. It skipped one brother, and now it's me and my youngest brother have the gift, so we can see and hear and everything. And so ever since I was little, I would be able to hear things that weren't there, see things. My mom, it was straight out of like a horror movie. My mom said that when she would come into my room sometimes, that I'd be sitting around my toys and they'd be playing. The toys would be playing, but I wouldn't be touching them. And also I'd ask my mom over and over who this man was that was standing in the corner. And this is like right when I was starting being able to talk. And my mom, obviously would be like, okay, let's get you out of this room, But apparently I'd always see a man. So after a couple years, I started growing up and stuff here and there would happen, but nothing crazy. But I didn't see anything crazy until I turned 11. There's a ghost tour here in Franklin. It's called Franklin Ghost Tours, and it was my 11th birthday party. I had some friends, and we all went on this ghost tour. And there was a lot of like kids in the group, and so the tour guide wasn't really telling us everything that was going on. They were kind of doing the dumbed down versions of like if there was a murder in a house, they would be like, oh, someone just sees ghosts here. They don't tell you about the murders, the gruesome stuff, because of the kids. Well, the tour guide takes us to this house called what's it called? Art Gallery 101, I believe. It's an art gallery here in Franklin, and it's an old house that was here around the Civil War, and it has bullet holes in it, cannonball marks, burn holes in the floor, all from the Battle of Franklin. So, we walk in the house, everything's normal, and as soon as you open the door, you see the stairs right there. They go up and they kind of curl, and then that's the upper floor, and there's a little banister that overlooks the main entrance. So I'm standing underneath the banister, and everybody in the tour group are in a different room, and it's just me, my mom, and this other lady that was there. And I'm standing underneath the banister, and then 1 minute everything was normal, and then 1 second goes by, and it goes blink, and I see 2 feet hanging down from the banister, and they're literally hanging right in front of my face. I can tell you the exact shoes that were on. I could tell you the type of dress, everything. But these feet were swaying back and forth, and they would slowly, like, gently hit each other, and they'd bounce off of each other like something swinging. Obviously, I was frightened, and I kind of freaked out, and I went underneath them like it was that real. I actually thought someone was hanging off the banister. I went underneath them, and I had, the goosebumps, the everything, the electricity felt unreal. I went to my mom, and my mom said I was hysterically, like, telling her I saw something. And while she was trying to figure out what was going on, the other lady in the room took a random picture of the staircase and appeared, and on the photograph appears the lady hanging, and you can obviously see the head and the neck area where she's hung from. And so we went to the tour guide, and we were like, we want some answers, because all she said was like, only people see her walking up and down the stairs, but she never said anything about her hanging on the stairs. So the lady kind of pulled us to the side where there were no kids and said that this lady was forced into a marriage that she did not want to be in and hung herself the night before in her wedding dress. And, of course, that was very unsettling. It was very cool at the time. I remember being stoked that I just saw a ghost, because all my life I've always been super interested. But I actually have the photographs still on my phone. I don't know if I can get that to you somehow. If you can, I don't know if that works on here, but
No, all you had, just text it to me. And yeah, I mean, if you want, if you don't mind, I'd love to put it up on the site.
It'd be awesome
for the podcast.
So yeah, and I do believe things can follow you home, because I believe that spirit is still with me today. Because ever since then, I've always had a female spirit that looks just like her follow me from house to house that I've lived in. That night, she followed me home, and I remember the next couple nights were really strange. My piggy bank that I had in my room, again, I was 11 years old, My piggy bank, I remember waking up to it smashing against my wall. It got thrown across my room, and it broke into millions of pieces, and there was change everywhere, and it was very startling. As time went by, we began to pack our things up and move, not from that, but just to move to Oregon. And I had a boombox in my room. It had no cord plugged into the wall. It had no batteries. I'm out with friends, and my parents are home alone, and they're packing our stuff. And next thing you know, Michael Jackson starts blaring in my room, and it's the song "Beat It," and it was only the chorus.
Cade, would you like to sing a part of
Beat it? That was great.
That was great. My
said it
dad,
just like him.
it was either my mom or dad. They went up there and they tried to see how it was playing, and there was no source of power going to it at all. There was no iPod in it or anything. So, yeah, I can go on and on. You have any more questions?
What's
one story?
Well, I have.
Yeah, I
plenty.
mean,
What about your
that
house?
one story that
Your
we
paranormal
love.
house.
Okay.
No, I was talking about.
did you say Panda House?
The plantation.
Okay. Well, I have.
Paranormal house.
I have a lot. So let me just start with when I turned the age 13. We moved back to Tennessee, and we moved into this house on Signal Mountain, and that's in Chattanooga. It's right next to Chattanooga. You have Lookout Mountain and Signal Mountain. They both overlook. We moved into this house, and I remember the first night walking up to the house. My parents were there for a couple of days before we got there, but I remember walking in, and I felt a feeling that I never felt before. which was this feeling of intense kind of pressure in the air. The best way I can explain it is the environment changed immediately from when you walked in the house compared to walking out. It feels like there's a heavy something that just kind of gets unloaded on you, you know. And it got stronger the more you went upstairs. So when you went upstairs, it was heavy, but when you went downstairs, it was kind of lighter. But then when you left the house, it was completely light, you know. You didn't feel anything weird.
Let me ask you this. I got to stop you.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard the term, or has your mom ever heard the term empath?
Yes. And
Okay, so it sounds like that's kind of what your area is, your gift is, and you're an empath basically. And you've probably been told that before.
I have been told that from like psychics and all that stuff. So, anyways, should I just continue?
Oh yeah, go for it.
There's a lot of stuff that happened in this house, but I'll kind of just reach on the basics, you know. I remember the first night there. I'm in bed, and Mom told me that they had a rat problem or something going on in this house. And this house is old. You know, it's from 1900 on the dot. They said, you know, rats kind of make noises at night, but don't worry, we're getting traps for them, so they should be gone soon. You know, nothing to worry about. I'm in bed, and I'd probably say around 2:30 in the morning, maybe 3 o'clock, I woke up to hearing what sounded like in the room across the hall of mine. It's kind of like this attic room, and we just kind of had our furniture and stuff in there. I woke up to hearing furniture being drug against the carpet. But the weird part is that it would shift from carpet to hard wood, and it would sound like furniture being dragged against carpet, and then it would turn into hard wood, and it didn't make sense. Going around, and I was like, that is not rats, dude. These rats are giants, if that's a rat, you know.
How old were you this time?
I was 13, and I remember I was too scared to get out of bed and look, obviously, because it sounded it just sounded pretty scary, I guess. I don't know if most people would get out and check if they were 13, but I wasn't too daring at this time. So anyways, the next morning, my mom and I would go in there, and we'd see that things had been moved to very weird spots, like lamps and corners that we never put there, all sorts of weird things. But the thing is this house, all the original wooden floors are under built-in carpet. So, except my room, and I'll get back to that later. So it was very weird that I was hearing things move on the carpet. I'll skip ahead and get to the point where I saw my first apparition in the house. So there was a lot of weird energy going on in this house where, you know, my parents, when we were living here, they started going through a divorce. So there was a lot of kind of negative energy kind of just coming out of everyone, a lot of fights, a lot of anger. So everyone was starting to just kind of give up, you know. And so when there's something that feeds off energy, they'll show themselves more when there is a lot more coming out, obviously. So there was just a lot of activity coming, kind of sparking at this time. And so one night I was in bed in my room, and the moonlight was coming in my room, and it was very bright. It was full moon. Everything was obviously right for this to happen. I had a lava lamp on, so I kind of had some light in the room. I hear my door kind of opening. It sounded like at first what sounded would be like a wind draft kind of pushing the door slightly. I didn't think anything of it. But then the door opens all the way up, and I see what kind of looks like a figure walking in, because it's at this area of the room where it's darker. But then when the moonlight hit it, I saw a girl, and she's probably 6 or 7 years old, and she walks to the foot of my bed, and she's just standing there. She's just looking at me. I lean up in my bed, and I'm just kind of freaked out a little bit because I don't know what I'm looking at here. At first, I thought it was my youngest brother. And so I got my pillow and I threw it at what I thought was my brother. I was like, "Get out, Cam." And as soon as I threw it, I turned back over in the bed and kind of started closing my eyes. But I heard the pillow hit the wall and slide down onto the floor. But I knew where I threw it, and I knew I would have heard it hit something other than the wall. So I sit back up and I say, "Cam, I told you to get out." And I still see that girl. And this girl's sitting there. She has a very normal look on her face. It's not like she's mad or she's sad or she's happy. It was just this very mediocre look, you know. She was wearing an average, it was just like, not undergarments, but it was a type of sleeping wear. I wouldn't say a sleeping gown, but it was something around those terms. She turns and she runs out the door and she runs down the hallway towards the bathroom. And she had blonde hair and I could see it flowing behind her. It was very strange. I get out of bed and I go to where I heard her run down the hall to. And at the end of the hall is just the bathroom. There was no other place for her to go. Obviously she wasn't there. And I went into my brother's room and both of my brothers are dead asleep. And that was my first apparition. And I didn't tell anyone about it until my mom started seeing things in the house where I tell her that. She starts seeing the little girl too. I'm like, well, I've been seeing her for months, you know. Things started getting darker as time went on. We started hearing more aggressive things start coming up. That's when we started getting the crucifixes and putting them in every room. We had this guy in the house, and we like to call him the man. And
I'm going to ask you a question about the crucifix in a minute, but you go ahead.
Okay. So the man, he was a very tall dude, and I like to think of him as a demon because when I saw him with my own eyes, I thought for a fact that this is not an average apparition. This dude was an actual demon, or just I'd say a negative spirit. Every morning, I would have to wake up and get ready in my room because in the bathroom, he would literally push the door so I couldn't get out of the bathroom after taking a shower. And after a while, I stopped showering in the mornings. I would shower at night and then just get ready in my room. Things started changing when he started literally blocking my bedroom door in the mornings. And I could see the feet prints, like the shadows underneath the door, literally holding the door shut. And this is like 5 a.m. I was the first one on the bus, and both my brothers were obviously still asleep. So I would text my mom, and she would have to get out of bed and like walk upstairs. And when she would walk upstairs, he would walk back to the end of the hallway, and I would literally open the door and sprint down the stairs. So he would, what's another thing? He would literally scream at me and my mom, and this is insane. This guy had what sounded like he had pipes, you know, a very deep, dark voice. I got up for school one day, and again, he blocked the bedroom door, and I waited for him to go down the hallway. And when he got to the end of the hallway, I opened the door and I started running downstairs. As soon as I open the door and start running downstairs, I look to where he's at, and I don't see his apparition, but I hear the footsteps of him running at me. And he never went past he never went past the top step. He would always stay upstairs. Excuse me. And that morning, I'm waiting with my mom at the bottom of the stairs after telling her what happened. She's like, we're going to have to get this house cleansed or something. So we're talking about that. And right before the bus pulls up, we hear this. It sounds like all sound got blocked off by this yell, but but it started from the top of the stairs, but then it started sounding like it was all around you, and you couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from. And it was a very long scream, and both me and my mom heard it. And next thing you know, the bus pulls up, and I'm like, all right, see ya. And I left her. And she was frightened, obviously. But you have that water in here or something? My throat's getting dry.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the reason I ask you about the crucifix is some people think, or I've heard people say that the more statues or paintings of Jesus or Mary, or all, the more they put in their house, thinking it's going to drive things away. Sometimes they say that it actually attracts.
Yeah.
I've heard this before, and I think it's got more to do with the people in the house need to have the faith. You don't need the crucifix,
right?
If you have the faith in whatever to put a good, a faith in whatever. Like I said, the light, the good, not the bad stuff, the good vibes. If you have enough faith in that, you can drive anything out of your house. But people think when they just start putting up crucifixes or pictures of Jesus or Buddha or whoever, they think it'll. But it's not an inanimate object. It's what we put out in the in there to.
It's the power we give it.
And
exactly. You're right, Chris. And it's the power you give it, or you because like you said, they feed off of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Fear.
They feed off of
fear. Yeah.
Negative energies, and when and things will spike when there's more drama and turmoil in the house. I mean, because these things I personally believe in like demonic oppression.
Right.
That it's people confuse it with possession, but this is like an oppressive force that's around you, that surrounds us all, that looks for anything it can do to get in and really just tear relationships apart, make you question your faith, everything. And these things wait for any kind of opportunity just to come in. Even these podcasts that I do with people, a lot of times they'll call me back or they'll text me back saying things have ramped up just by them talking about it. And that's a weird thing across the board.
Because you're acknowledging it.
Yeah, you are. That's the total. You're right. I mean, when you acknowledge it, it's going to make itself a little more known. And like the more you look for it, the more things are going to manifest themselves to you.
Exactly.
It's like you seek in church, you seek God, you seek. I mean, the more whatever you draw closer to, it's going to draw closer back to you.
Right.
Basically.
And I noticed that my whole family, we are believers and all that stuff, Christians and all that stuff. But since this was such a very weird, hectic part of our lives with a lot of dark energy coming out, just negative energy, of course it's going to, and so, especially if you have empaths in the house, that's when things are going to start going a little crazy. We had crazy stuff. Like my dad would wake up in the middle of the night hearing my mom scream, thinking someone was attacking her, and he would run downstairs just to find her asleep. And that happened almost every week.
Has she ever talked about having night terrors or bad dreams or?
She never said that. So I would ask her, were you? Well, obviously I'd ask the question were you screaming? And she would be no. But it started happening consistently on every night at this certain time. I can't remember exactly. It was probably 5 or probably not 5. I'd probably say 4 or 3. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But that happened a couple of times. And so the first time I saw the man was summer. And I really can't explain. I can't even I'm trying my best I'm going to try my best to explain it to you guys, but it's just very hard to put into picture.
And I was going to ask you, has he been a solid form, or has it mostly been almost luminous?
What I saw was completely solid. Completely. So, okay, I'm 14 at this time, and my brothers split a room. You know, they have bunk beds. They're separated on the floor, and they have a TV, and, you know, so, yeah. So one night, it's a summer night, I'm up just watching TV in my room. It's probably midnight to 1 in the morning. And I got up to use the bathroom. And you have to pass their room down the hall, because you're going down a hallway. You have to pass by their room to get to the bathroom. And so their door's open, and they both fell asleep to the TV on. And I passed their room, and I see something that catches my eye, and it makes me turn around and come back and look into the room. And I look into the room, and I see right next to the TV in the corner this huge, tall, black mass. That's the TV screen was giving a glow onto it. That was, you could see all its features. I didn't see any clothes on it. All I saw was like bare chest, and then it showed the face, and the face was a very weird face. The man had his head at such an angle that it would have been impossible for him to just glance at me from the angle he was like at a very strange, he just couldn't glance at me, you know, without turning his head. But the thing is he was staring at my brothers while they were sleeping. God Lord, sorry. And
I can tell you really want some water.
I really want water. Is there any more?
Yeah,
I could use.
He's gonna get me some water.
Wow.
Yeah, good, because you're at 14 and you're almost 20 now, so we got a few years to go yet.
Yeah. So, sorry about that. Where was I?
No, you're good. I can definitely. I know we're approaching like an hour on this, but I definitely want to have you back because I know you got.
I have plenty more.
Yeah.
I'll just finish this one up.
I think Chris said he was going to grab the acoustic and sing a song, you know, Rosie or something.
No.
Yeah, I'll just mess with.
I don't think Landon has an acoustic actually. Here.
Oh, we've got one somewhere.
So, anyways, I'm seeing him. I'm like in this weird, like, perception where I literally just can't move. I'm looking at him and I'm like kind of shocked because you're seeing something that's not normal. And to see him looking at my brothers was really weird, but he had a kind of a Joker smile going on. Anyways. And it was a very sinister looking grin. But what was the really creepy part is when his eyelid came down to around his mid-cheek area, and his eye literally turned and looked at me, while one eye stayed focused on one of my brothers. And I freaked out. I ran away, and then I was like, I can't let my brothers sleep in there.
Oh, it took you that long to freak out and run away?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I run down the hall. I'm like, what do? Do I tell my mom? But I was like, no. And I go back upstairs, and he's gone. The feeling in the room's still super heavy. And wake my brothers up, and I'm like, y'all have to come sleep with me. And I didn't explain why. I just told them y'all have to come sleep in my bed. And they were so sleepy that they just went with it. Good Lord.
Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Throat's so dry.
Maybe Landon will be back with the water by then. I think he had to go to the well or something. So you've heard of people seeing what's called shadow people.
Yeah.
Or you've seen they're called like the Hat Man. Was this guy wearing a hat? And
all I saw was just this. I didn't see a hat. No.
Okay, but you've heard of all these things with the shadow people and the Hat Man and different types of entities that will appear.
Oh, I've heard the shadow
Of course.
before.
Yeah.
Thank God there's water.
Thank you.
I was dying.
That's it over here.
Landon, you're gonna make somebody a good wife one day.
Yeah, of course. There's different types of entities anyone can see.
Well, no, and I gotta. There's certain questions I want to ask too.
Yeah.
Do you ever remember any odd smells?
There was definitely this one. I can't remember exactly if it was sulfur or not, which is, the thing that demons give off. But there was a weird horde of flies that would die in the same spot every week. Oh my God, I'm like
I'll tell you
tearing
what.
up. Hold on, this is the good
No,
part. This is the good part.
No, I'm gonna say something, and then after you hydrate. No, I was gonna say, me and some off-duty the police officers I used to work with, we went to Old Bryce Mental Hospital a couple of times, looking around and doing some supposed investigations. I think we were just trying to scare ourselves, having fun. But we came out of part of the hospital, and we heard footsteps to the whole thing, and we heard the old telephone bell ring from like the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
We thought we would actually debunk that sound, but we heard that. We heard footsteps where we would get to an intersection in a hallways in the hospital. We literally thought we were going to see somebody because we could hear them. You could almost feel them in the building. But we came back out in the courtyard, and we were hit.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Sorry, we were hit with this. No, we were hit with this overwhelming smell of, it was sulfur, rotten eggs kind of smell.
Yep.
And that, I look for, when I go out and do these things like this, I try to open up all my senses, because, the more you can stay calm and report everything in detail, you can kind of make your case a little more. I'm looking for what I can hear, see, smell, even touch.
That's right.
The air, does the temperature drop? Do you have those weird smells? Even some people in the UFO cases have even talked about tasting stuff, and I ask a lot of the witnesses. I ask them these questions: did you taste anything weird? Did you? And the reason I ask that is because some of the things that people have seen have ionized the air to the point where it tastes like you're touching a 9-volt battery to your tongue.
That's right.
You taste a metallic taste, and depending on what they're seeing, depending on whatever this is, I don't know what they are. I don't know. I'm still on the edge, on the fence about a lot of this stuff. But what they're seeing is, I believe what they're telling me, that they're actually seeing something they believe, but it's like when they can describe a taste, a smell. You're really jumping into the heart of their story, and it makes it more believable. And I lost my train of thought.
Oh yeah, no.
Are you better now? So
I feel like I'm a little better.
All right. Well, all right. Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to know details and specifics about what you were going through.
Okay. So anytime that the man would speak, there'd be 3 knocks before anything would happen.
And you know what that usually is a sign of, right?
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you? What?
But 3 knocks usually indicates the mocking of the Trinity, the mocking of the Trinity, and anyone paranormal knows exactly what that means. It just means that demonic spirits mimic it by either making fun of it vocally or knocking 3 times, but we can never figure out where the knocking was coming from. There'd be this one area in the house where psychics would say that he would linger, hang out the most. That's where he would be. And throughout the summer, throughout the winter, there'd be certain flies that would come in there and die in like the thousands in the corners. I wouldn't say thousands, but like 100 of them would be dead in this one corner. And they're the certain fly that is attracted to blood. And I'm talking wintertime, and it's the weirdest thing. Just wintertime, you'd walk in there, there'd be 100 dead flies, and then you'd sweep them up, and then the next week, there would be 100 more. We had people come and look through the house, bug specialists. They could not find a way that they were getting in the house. There was no way. And that's where a lot of the stuff we would hear come out from the guy, the man. He would be coming out of that one specific room. And the family that lived there before us, they didn't say that they experienced any ghost stuff, but the children that lived there, throughout the house, they would draw little pictures of ghosts. And in the attic room where the man would hang out, there's a door in there. And when we opened the door, there was a cross literally carved in the wall. And that was just very freaky. But we found out when we moved out of the house that we looked at the history, obviously, while we were there, but we didn't uncover this history when we moved out. We uncovered that a family lived there, and what happened was a murder-suicide happened in the house. And a man that lived there, I think it was in the 50s, he killed his wife by knocking her down the stairs, which broke her neck. And that's another figure I didn't get to talk about, but every night at 3 in the morning, I'd wake up to this lady walking up the stairs in high heels. And the stairs have carpet on them, but underneath it, it's wooden floors, and she'd always stop at the last step. And notice how I said earlier how the man wouldn't go past that one step.
Right.
It's like they're in a weird area. Anyways, so what happened was the police report said that the man pushed her downstairs. She broke her neck. He kills his daughter, who was the girl that I was seeing in the house too. I can't remember exactly how he killed her. But what happened then is that he went into my room and shot himself next to the window in my bedroom. And my bedroom was the only one in the house that had original floors. And there was a weird stain in the corner of the room in the window area. Could not explain it. I definitely thought it was blood the whole time we lived there, but we didn't know for a fact until we did the research. So that's the haunted house on Signal Mountain. But we moved out of it because of just how haunted it was. We couldn't live there anymore. We did blessings, we did holy water and crucifixes throughout the house, and it would work for a matter of time. It would work for probably 2 or 3 months, and then things would start happening again. And at that point, my parents were finally split up, and my mom just kind of had enough of it, and so we moved down the street. And, yeah.
And then now you're here.
Now I'm here.
And I know you have stuff that's going on here in Franklin too as well, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but definitely want to have you back.
I would love to.
And you got tons more stuff that we can unpack and kind of. And
if there's anyone that wants to go ghost hunting, I take that very seriously, and I would love to do it. I have a lot of my own equipment, I'm
Really?
kind of self-promoting. Yeah, EVP recorders, PS, what is it? It's a spirit box, but it's I'm under pressure now. I can't remember.
is it like it's a radio though that scans?
Yeah.
The original thing.
Told you.
It originally started. Or people called it Frank's box.
Yeah, Frank's box is a big thing. People still buy the original Frank boxes.
Right.
They're so expensive. And
did you know that? I mean, it's rumored, but even Alexander Graham Bell was reported to have created some kind of communication device. I mean,
really,
basically, he was picking up his own EVP things at the time, and even the guy who invented the radio, Marconi.
Yeah.
All of these people were hearing Nikola Tesla, all these people, when they started dealing with things at the turn of the century, inventions, heavy magnetic coils, Tesla coils, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anything that they could open up an electronic, basically microphone, for lack of a better word, anything they could open up to that, they started hearing these crazy things.
Spirit realm is not, it's like literally in front of us. It's paper thin. It doesn't take much to tap into it.
And your story of you keep seeing these people walk around, and you hear things on hardwood when it's not, shouldn't be
residual.
Who said that? You said that, right?
Me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because it kind of goes in line with the stone tape theory. Have you ever heard this?
Yeah. That's a very good theory.
He knows everything.
I'm so into this stuff.
What's the stone tape theory?
What's that?
What's the stone tape theory?
You tell him. It's basically a residual. it depends on like, I guess geology. It's whatever. Like you have these certain mineral deposits in the earth wherever you're at that can kind of record.
Like wood.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that can record like traumatic experiences, Civil War. That's why you tend to see a lot. But they don't. It's not an intelligent haunt. They don't know that we're there. If they interact like with a man interacted, that was something totally different. But these things that just show up and they like the old Civil War soldier you hear that keeps walking back.
It's
and
like
forth.
a replay of time.
Exactly.
In a very weird way. It's like.
It's almost holographic.
With building like the Carter house. The bullet holes in the walls that all obtain the energy of the wood. So it's gonna.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does it. That's the whole theory part. But.
And the conditions have to be right sometimes for some of these things to start replaying over and over.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're really not there. It's not it's literally just an imprint in time that happened. But when I think a lot of things or most things that happen are probably that interact with us probably are demonic. And
if anyone's still here listening to this, if you're very interested in paranormal stuff and you like to do EVP recordings and all that stuff, the best way to get anything is, I'm pretty sure everyone has their own ritual, in order how I get these and how I get that. Literally how I get the best recordings is literally just meditating before doing anything. Like sit in a dark room, meditate for like 30 minutes, envisioning the spiritual contact that you want to have, and then go out and get it. Again, like sometimes that doesn't work for everyone, but I have gotten Class A EVPs because of this, and I want to somehow give it to you. I have a Class A EVP of a woman telling me her name in this train station in Mississippi. And, next time I'm here, I'm sure we can somehow do that. But
well, yeah, I definitely want to get that on here. I mean, I can add it to the show. I mean, we could just pull a clip of that. We could even hold it up to a microphone. We can go old school with it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can like save it as an MP3 or something. And
yeah.
But I definitely want any pictures you can get and any EVPs that you got. And I am totally down to go with you guys if you ever really want to go ghost hunt again or wherever. Yeah. I'll do it.
We can get to. Let's see if
he's never been to Carton.
He's never been to Carton. That's a good place to go. But I can try and get my friend to let. It'd probably just probably be a select few. But the owner of Homestead Manor let me stay there one night with a couple guys, and
oh wow,
we had a great experience there.
Yeah, I bet you. We ate dinner there one night when it was up and running, and the waitress told us a really cool story.
What was it?
I think it was a young lady there that, I guess during one of the skirmishes maybe the Union came through, she hid in the basement or the cellar or something like that. Anyway, she had to run out and try and like get maybe the other side's attention or something, and she wound up getting killed. But anyway, she still walks that house, according to the waitress. I'm not sure. I've never done the research on it, but
yeah.
No, I would love to do that, and I think a lot of times you just go and sit and listen. You don't. Oh yeah. You don't talk. You don't ask.
Things will jump out. We had a buddy there when we stayed there who is a Civil War reenactor, and he came in the full out Confederate uniform with the saber and everything. And apparently it used to be back in the day when it was the Civil War going on and everything, the Union held it as a kind of like a little bit of a command center area. It wasn't like lead command, but it was something like that, We had our buddy come in there, full gear with the musket and everything, but he came in with his saber drawn because we were trying to make that energy spark again,
Right.
He comes in and he's saying, I don't know how he said it, but it was very spot on, Southern accent, everything. And it was saying that he had this so-and-so many men outside, and if you don't leave, we're gonna blow this house to bits, all that stuff. And he's talking to the Union soldiers that are there, and we get an EVP of a voice coming through saying to him to get out, but it's a very strong northern voice. It wasn't, you didn't hear any southern drawl in it. And then he got, under his clothes, he got what looked like a saber cut, which looked like from the end of a bayonet. And he said, like, my chest is burning. And so we told him to unbutton his couple buttons to see what we could find. And it was it looked like someone just charged at him. And I was next to him, and he didn't move a muscle. So there's definitely stuff here, and I'd love to see if we can get back there.
Well, yeah, and I'm still waiting on. I'm supposed to hear back from Franklin on Foot director. I've reached out to them. They're supposed to let me come up there at some point and interview some of them, some of the tour guides that have witnessed and seen stuff.
They tell my story.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm going to be doing something soon with a team from Ripavilla Plantation down here.
Ooh, yeah.
What's the name of it?
I don't remember the actual paranormal team, but wait a minute, it's called Whispers from the Past or something like that. But they do a lot at the Ripavilla here in Spring Hill. But no, I'll get you guys out of here. I just appreciate you coming on, and I loved the stories. I'm going to have you back real soon because it's just that time of year.
Thank you.
But and then maybe we can all get together and do maybe not investigation, just go somewhere and see what happens or what we spark.
Yeah.
But a big huge shout out to Naked Gypsy Queens, or down in Georgiana they say Naked Gypsy Queens.
Naked.
And either way works. And thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for letting me have
Cade,
this.
Chris, Bo, Landon, and I'm probably going to get some of you guys' buffer music to throw on the tag end of this if someone can figure out how to do it, if you can do that. And, but we'll be back soon. And remember, guys, if you want to be on the show, contact me at mysteriousHuntsman@gmail.com or try me on my new webpage, mysteriousHuntsman.com. I'd love to hear your stories and anything else you got strange that's happened to you. Thanks. Have a good night. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of Mysterious Huntsman Podcast. Thanks for listening, guys, and enjoy an incredible rockin' tune from NGQ, Naked Gypsy Queens from Nashville. This is called Marmalade.